when Trey and Matt said, I met them somewhere at a party or something, and they said, would you ever do one? I thought, of course, they meant a voice. I went, yes, of course. And I get there, and it wasn't a voice, it was actually me saying I'm a very British person. I love those guys, they're just great. I would do anything for those guys, they're just so talented.
This lady right here.
How do you feel after so long about working on Caligula, which is one of my favorite movies of all time?
How does Malcolm feel?
I'll get your number afterwards, Sam. Caligula, eh? Well, how interesting. Could you stand up again? Oh, yeah. It was, in a word, exhausting. It was amazing, actually, to work with people like John Gielgud and Peter O'Toole and Dame Helen Mirren before she was Dame. It was amazing, you know, but we didn't know they were going to add all the porno stuff. But, you know, because it was Bob Guccione, the publisher of Penthouse, one had an inkling. We're not that stupid. But it was fun to see John Gielgud amongst all this nudity and, you know, Knights of the Realm, and wandering down the halls of the studio going, I've never seen so much cock in all my life. Oh, I say, Malcolm, have you been on the set? I said, no, John, I'm just about to go to the set. He goes, oh, do tell me if you think they're pubescent, or do you think they're shaved? Well, he's well known for liking little boys. Oh, it's an English thing, come on.
Speaking of liking little boys, you've got to tell me about Evil Enco, because I just saw it recently.
Did you?
Yes. It's very creepy to be this close to you after seeing that movie. But I have three things to ask. One, what was that film like? It's very difficult. There's a lot of very difficult scenes. Two, at one point you almost completely naked. Three, why was it dedicated?
What do you mean almost?
Well, we didn't see the tackle and
it wasn't
in
the television
situation.
You should see it on a 60-foot screen.
And why was it dedicated to Lindsay Anderson?
Well, because I did the director that I did the film with. I met him through Lindsay, and when we talked about this film, it's a wonderful film in many ways, and a very difficult film that really is based on the exploits of this man Chikatilo, who was the Soviet Union's biggest serial killer. And they refused to even admit they had a serial killer because they thought that that was the American disease. And in fact, they caught this man after the first murder and let him go. And executed a man who lived down the street because he was a sex offender or something, and without really checking, you know. But hey, why would they be any more efficient in the Soviet Union than they are particularly now? But anyway, it's a remarkable film in many ways, and it takes this man, it's based on his life, but it's also, you know, the director and the writer, he sets it in the time of the collapse of communism in the Soviet Union, so that this loss of identity spurs this and kicks this into high gear. And it was a very, very difficult role for me to do because, you know, to play a pedophile who is a cannibal, and my wife was pregnant. It was not much fun, you know. And I was really, you know, if it hadn't been a friend of mine, I would have got out of it. But he was a great friend, and he's very talented, this director, David Grieco, his name. So, you know, I got this call to say, Mark, we're so excited, we've got the money. And I'm like, for what? Evil Enco! Oh, geez. We're going to shoot it? We actually have to make it? Yeah, darling, we make it in Kiev. I went, oh, are there any good restaurants there? No. Always worried about the food. Anyway, this, you know, he gave me a stack of tapes on this Chikatilo guy, and I went, I don't work that way, I can't work. Look, I'm not a method actor, you know, I've got to figure a way of doing this. Anyway, I was unpacking my suitcase and these tapes were on the TV, and I was walking in and out, and I just happened to glance at the screen and I saw this Chikatilo in a cage in a courtroom in Moscow. And suddenly the documentary camera came in very close to the man who was holding the bars like this, and he looked in the camera and gave the weirdest, creepiest smile. It was something like, and I was completely mesmerized, and I went, that's how I'm gonna play it! And that's how I played it. You recognize it?
Welcome, McDowell. Comes all the time with our culture.